Today, every one of us sits here silently carving out a little space in our heart. It's just exactly the right size and shape to carry the memory of Marcel forward with them. And they say that this life is like living in a nice hotel. You check in and you have a nice stay and have a wonderful time, but you know that eventually, someday, you're going to check out and go home. And after 90 years of an amazing life, Marcel has checked out and gone home. And at 9 years of age, Marcel was not yet old. He'd been young a long time, but an inspiring individual. I met Marcel when I was an adult, and I avoided all of the normal friction of parent-child relationships, you know, learning how to walk, ride a bike, negotiating for allowance, being the first son brought home by the police, learning how to drive, bringing home a girlfriend, getting married. So I just rolled all that up into one phone call in about 1988 and essentially said, Marcel, it's 1955 calling. And Marcel had some explaining to do. Ricky and Lisa certainly were unaware of my existence and went, oh my goodness, you know. And I was planning to come down to Detroit to meet with Marcel and the family. And weren't quite sure how that might go. It could go any direction. So there was a very nervous meeting at a hotel lobby here in Detroit. And he sort of took one look at me, and we chatted a little bit. He said, well, here's a guy who speaks French, and he skis, and really well educated. He had a motorcycle when he was a little bit younger. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree. So we had very interesting opportunity to expand our family. We're very fortunate to have done so and have had the most generous of acceptance from everyone in Marcel and Shirley's family. And it's really expanded our world. We learned and had an opportunity to participate in things that were not part of our background. It was just a really amazing experience to expand our life, and we appreciate that so much. So Marcel had some characteristics. When you meet someone like Marcel as an adult without having gone through all that parent-child stuff, you sort of have a different entry into the relationship. And Marcel was frugal. And by that I mean tight like the bark on a tree. He was encyclopedic in his knowledge of not only the history of the world, but the history of our family. And certainly was happy to share that with everyone that came with him at arm's length. He had an opinion, and he was never shy about letting you know what it was. And Marcel may have been wrong, but he was never in doubt. He had cultured tastes acquired from his upbringing, and that included Cadbury's chocolate, Peak Freeman's cookies, and cheese, all of which we were able to smuggle in from Canada on our frequent visits to California, which he enjoyed. There's a television show called Modern Family that owes Marcel a debt of gratitude for establishing the model for that series, and I'm sure there are royalties that should be paid, because if anybody has established a modern family, it is Marcel Bédard. So much so that when our good friend Richie Greenberg came to us when we were in California recently, and Richie had reconnected with his daughter after many years of absence. Marcel and I looked at one another, and we said, been there, done that. And it just couldn't be a better situation for everyone in the family. So there's a saying that we are born with our fists clenched, and we die with our hands open. We come into this world grasping for material things, and we leave it taking nothing. We learn material things are not the important things. What you leave behind is what people remember of you. And they may not remember exactly what you did. And they may not remember exactly what you said. But they remember how you made them feel. And Marcel made me feel very proud to be one of his children.